And why is it important in 2019, 2020, 2025 to have an app?
It depends on the product. Maybe not. It may not be important. But in the case of a booking service, if you're booking something over and over and over again, going on the website and waiting for it to load it's not as optimal, let's call it, as having an app that you can open and search for services, search for through the salons, and book right there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of New York 100. Today I'm sitting with a very special guest. I'm very excited about this musician turned model turned business mogul, Anjelika. Thank you for coming on. And first off, I want you to explain the office that we're in right now, the beautiful scene. This is a beautiful view. What's the office that we're in and what goes on here?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.
So right now we're located at 401 Broadway in Soho, in Tribeca, Soho, New York City, Manhattan. We're at DigitalDesign.NYC, which is a software development agency specializing in building apps and websites for different sorts of clients. A lot of lifestyle apps. We do full design development, and this is an agency that I launched about 3.5 years ago now.
Okay. Beautiful. So I'm glad we got that out the way because I want to like really go backwards, go into your journey, and then I want to reach the same point again. All right. So first off, you're from Brno.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's correct. I'm from Brno, Russia. From Siberia. It's the capital city of the state of Altai.
Okay.
Brno is, and I was born there, grew up there, and then later went to university in Canada, Italy, Hong Kong, and Ecuador, and then came here to New York City.
Yeah, so I want you just glossed over that. I want to touch on that. So why was it important? Because I know I lived abroad for a few years as well, and why was it important for you to live abroad as opposed to staying back at home?
I think that I always like to see, especially in business, different perspectives around the world of how people approach business, how they conduct business. Different countries around the world specialize in different things, and so obviously when it came to manufacturing, I went and studied supply chain and international business in China. So obviously we know China does a lot of manufacturing for the world, and visited factories there, so that was very interesting in terms of understanding.
That was in Hong Kong, or what part of China?
I went to university in Hong Kong, University of Hong Kong.
Okay.
But went to visit factories in Shenzhen, in Shanghai, in Guangzhou.
Guangzhou. Yeah, because I lived in Shanghai. So,
oh, you did? Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
So and then how long was that for? Experience in China?
A few months.
For study abroad.
For study abroad, correct.
Shanghai is a fun city.
Shanghai is amazing. I love Shanghai, especially now. I mean, I haven't been back since it's sort of re-blown up. But at the time when I was in Shanghai, the city to be in was Beijing. And I sort of glanced through Beijing, but very quickly, and in Shanghai I spent a little bit more time. But since then, I've been back to China multiple times, and I've been to Beijing again. And spent more time in Beijing and did not go to Shanghai. But now Shanghai is apparently a whole cultural center now.
Boom. So actually, I do want to hop on this just a little bit more. So you said Toronto, you said Hong Kong.
Yes.
And you said Italy?
Ecuador and Italy.
Ecuador and Italy. So what I eventually want to get at is I've traveled a lot. I always tell people to travel because it's like you said, it brings a lot of different interests, a lot of tastes, and you build a lot of culture. How has travel and living abroad, what are some of the skills that you've gained that helped you now? Just from living abroad in these different places, how has that helped you, in your business decisions or just in your decisions as of today?
I would say creative thinking.
Creative thinking.
I mean, the ability to see how people solve problems abroad in different countries is completely different from the way, let's say, we solve problems in U.S. The way we solve problems in New York is probably pretty different than in other cities in the U.S. as well. It's a very big country, but everyone is different everywhere. But yet you see certain patterns, and you learn about them, and they come back to me in different experiences. So, and also I happen to go not just travel to these 4 countries we've talked about, but
You've been all over.
Well, I've been all over, yes, but these 4 countries where I spent more time.
Yes.
The most time, I was also studying, so I was able to really learn from people in that country of the way they study, the way they approach problems and solve them, and it comes back to me in so many different ways.
So one thing you mentioned is the way you approach problems and the way. Because you have a very, very diverse team, actually. You have a diverse team. So, basically, I think I want to kind of summarize what you said. Those experiences has helped you look at problems and solve them a bit more creatively and with a broader perspective.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. And then...
And the relationships. I mean, I have to add. I mean, every place I went, I built great friendships and great relationships with amazing people. And I mean, we were talking about Ecuador. I must mention, I became great friends with a man named Martin Dominguez, who then was at the time when we met was a struggling artist. Wanted to be an actor, and he was amazing at it. And he deeply wanted to act. And then after we left, we were like soul sister and brother when we met. After I left Ecuador, we stayed in touch very much. We met again actually in Rome, in New York, in Los Angeles, in Mexico. We've always seen each other a number of times around the world. But he went on to start a company called Enchufe TV, which then became Touché Films, the conglomerate, the company that owns Enchufe TV, and they became the largest YouTube channel from South America, with something like 180 million subscribers.
Oh my goodness!
And they became huge, and I've then come once they started. They were all artists who were running the company, so they were not business people. And I came on board as an advisor and was helping them sort of structure some of the business elements.
That was in Ecuador?
Yeah, well, we met when I was studying there years and years ago, which is I think in 2010 I was there, I believe, and we stayed very great friends, and I started helping him with the business just in December of last year, December 2018.
What was your role as an advisor? What's some things that you've kind of
What did I help them with?
Yeah.
Their financial models, their projections, their ability to expand into other revenue streams, communication of that to their potential investors. I helped them go on their investment roadshow, prepare some of the documentation that was going out to investors to communicate about the business and explain what they do and what they will do. And in December of last year, the company was actually acquired.
Oh, okay.
Yes, full acquisition, and there's the majority of the team is still with the company post acquisition, and they have new offices in Mexico now. Martin is moving to Mexico as we speak. I think last week he moved, and we're stayed very much in touch.
No, that's good. You built a lot of connections, and it led you to different opportunities. And this is what I want to talk into next. But you actually did 10 years of modeling. So when did that actually start? When did you get into modeling?
So I was modeling through my teenage years. It was before university.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, in Toronto I was with IMG and worked in Vancouver and Vegas and a lot of shows. I was a house model for KMS Goldwell, Redken, Schwarzkopf. Did a lot of hair modeling.
Hair modeling?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you was checking your hair like 20 times in the mirror? Okay, the hair modeling.
Don't put that in.
No, yeah, I'm going to put that in. What's hair modeling?
Hair modeling.
What type of commercials is that? Like hair
so KMS, like Goldwell, when you're seeing ads for the product, or they have a lot of shows for hair. So always presentations and things like that.
Okay. All right. So
I've been in some big ads for hair, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Was you going to name drop?
I did KMS Goldwell, Schwarzkopf, Redken.
All right. Okay. All right. Beautiful. And it's like, what I want to know is, so what? All right. So, because I'm not in the modeling industry, right? What type of environment is it to be a model? Like, how do you get like jobs, offers, like liaising with people? What type of environment? Outside looking in, it looks like a very fierce, competitive environment. Is that correct, or is that?
It is. I mean, it's obviously you're being judged on what you look like and your proportions and your aesthetic qualities. So it's you either fit the bill or you don't, I think. And obviously everybody, you have a very limited span. And as in certain modeling categories, obviously it's typically younger girls because it's, obviously the perception of beauty is as such. But a lot of the girls that I used to model with, they went on to doing acting, which is something I dabbled in a little bit, but never pursued full time. And it's definitely a competitive industry, but I think a lot of industries are competitive.
Yeah, I just want to know what type of person, and for someone watching as well, what type of person would you have to be to survive and thrive in that industry? Because let's just say if you're doing, if you're back in Shanghai and you're a businessman in Shanghai, you have to be a very quick thinker. That's the type of person you have to be, a very quick thinker. If you're a designer, you have to be very analytical. You have to, pay attention to details. What type of person would you say a model? What type of traits would a successful model have to behold?
I think you have to be strong-willed.
Strong-willed.
Definitely,
okay.
Because obviously you're going to get a lot of no's.
Okay.
And you also have to say a lot of no's, meaning you have to. When we talk about modeling, there's many types of modeling, and I think what we're both are speaking about is just high fashion, and which is typically what everyone thinks modeling is. There's also part modeling. There is also plus size modeling. There's fit modeling. There's so many different types of modeling out there.
Okay.
But everyone thinks about models as Naomi Campbell. She's over there. And
Maybe she's over there.
There's a picture of her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But so the supermodels that we know, Claudia Schiffer, Naomi Campbell, and so forth, all the high fashion models, if you want to be in that world, there's very specific criteria you have to fit, right? And then you obviously have to be strong-willed to work out a certain way, have a certain lifestyle in terms of your eating habits and so many other things that will obviously impact how you look every day, because you have to wake up early in the morning, you have to go to the casting, you have to stand in these sort of very crowded rooms and wait for your call time, and often it's delayed and so forth. And just kind of be okay with that. Yes. So and then often receive no's and be judged on your looks, and so for that reason.
So I'm assuming this has helped you a lot with entrepreneurship, because you got to receive a lot of no's to get to that yes. Has that kind of translated just the mindset that you took into the modeling industry and the not a rejection, has that translated into the business world as well?
Just like everything. We talked about travel, right, and how you take away different aspects and cultures from the countries I've visited. Same with my experiences of my life experiences, obviously. Modeling, yes, certainly. Lots of no's. Auditioning for films as well, the same. Lots of no's, kind of being able to be okay with that. And of course, it helps with entrepreneurship. We're now at a time of our agency where we find that we say no to clients sometimes. Yes.
I'm at that stage as well.
So it's a nice place to be, but it took us a while to get here.
Put this high five in. But yeah, that's a really good state, because I know at the beginning you always have to say yes to everything, until someone asked me that the other day, until I get to a stage where it's like I can't do it. Yeah. So I know you said this kind of came natural for you as a kid, as a child. But all right, I still perform for them people. I still get nervous. So would you have any tips for someone do you do anything yourself to kind of prep and get yourself centered and make sure you're not coming out? Oh, I'll give you an example. That same, we were supposed to do this interview last week. I got on the phone, it was big CEO, big bank. I prepared, got all my notes, prepared everything. Got on the phone, I couldn't even say the alphabet. I totally flopped. I couldn't.
Really? Okay.
What advice would you give someone to
Be honest. I think if you're honest, for example, I always give this example to people who are afraid of public speaking. I always say, if I were to ask you to go up on stage and tell everyone that you love your parents, would you have any trouble doing that?
No.
Because it's true.
Okay.
Right. So if you're saying things that you know, things that you're very, very familiar with, things that you know through and through, and that it becomes a truth. And in that case, it's not difficult to say them because you know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
So think about it that same way, right? If I were to go and give a talk about quantum physics, I would probably be very nervous because I know nothing about quantum physics, right? And so if I had, basically I would have to memorize my lines and I would be going from memory of what I was supposed to speak about versus speaking about something that I know and something I am very familiar with. And so I think that's the key, is to feel that you really know the subject on which you're doing a talk or presentation.
Okay. All right. Now, where we at right now, DigitalDesign.NYC. So how did we get here? From all those days, from the traveling to the modeling, why did you decide to pivot into app development?
Well, it wasn't exactly a pivot. What happened was in my career, in my business career after university, I was meant to work on Wall Street. I was meant to work in finance, but I ended up working for a tech startup called Harry.com, which is a hospitality recruitment marketplace. Also was in Soho, also on Broadway, just a few blocks up. You know where the Angelika Film Center is?
No, I don't.
Well, it's just a few blocks up, and I was right above it, so in the same building.
Is it literally named after you?
No.
Okay.
It's even spelled differently. But yes, it's a well-known building, well-known cinema. It's called the Cable Building, actually. And so that's where my office was. And while I was there building this product, I was managing many different operations of that company. It was the first hire. And I think my strong suit was always the technology itself. So building the feature set with the designers, the developers, and bringing to fruition some of the needs of the industry.
All right, and then so that was at Harry, and then after that, you started your own company,
Yeah, so we basically built a fashion tech app. After that. So after I left, I knew how to get web and mobile platforms built. So I built a fashion tech app, and with the same team, we started building projects for clients, for other lifestyle clients at DigitalDesign.NYC.
And then and you've been doing this for 3.5 years.
Yes.
So would you still say you're in your early stages, or would you still?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been doing this about 4 years, and I still think I'm beginning. Yeah. And why is it important in 2019, 2020, 2025 to have an app?
It depends on the product. Maybe not. It may not be important. But in the case of a booking service, if you're booking something over and over and over again, going on the website and waiting for it to load it's not as optimal, let's call it, as having an app that you can open and search for services, search for through the salons and book right there. So
repetitive booking is a good attribute for an app.
I would say yes. I would say yes. Another booking platform we built, end-to-end booking platform we built is Snailz. It's essentially open table for nail salons. So Snailz, unlike Glam Go, does not own the salons. Snailz is an open table for salons. So meaning they have already 250 locations around New York City, which are salons you can pick from and book services. Now for those salons, they're suddenly getting new customers into the doors.
So is your kind of niche working with beauty and fashion companies, or work with different?
Beauty, fashion, travel. Beauty, fashion, travel would be the hospitality. I mean, so basically lifestyle. The general category is lifestyle. Because
I want to know. Because let's just say I wanted to build an app. I want to know what would be some of the benefits of having an app, adding an app to my business. Because a lot of companies, they want to build an app. Some, like you said, they don't really need it, but they do it anyway. Some companies, they really need an app, but they don't have it. So as a company, how can I know if an app will actually benefit me? I think a lot of people want to know, how can an app benefit my company?
I think you pick up the phone and you call me.
Okay. All right.
And I will hear all about your business, and I will give you my honest opinion whether or not you need an app.
Okay.
I have plenty of clients that come to me who want me to build an app for them, and I tell them, no, you should not build an app. You should build a website, for example.
Great answer. DigitalDesign.NYC, hit up Angelika and then and the team, and they'll get back to you if you need an app or not. Now, final couple questions before I wrap up. All right. Smart work or hard work?
Smart work. and hard work.
No, come on, no.
Yeah, every minute you're not working, it's a minute you're missing an opportunity.
If you had to choose one, smart or hard?
Obviously smart, but you should work hard in a smart way.
Okay, so
yeah,
let's say smart. And then urgency or patience?
It's a very tough one. Patience is a virtue, and in due time, but I think perseverance, so perhaps I'd say urgency, in fact.
Yo, you are the first person that said urgency. But like, just say it, be proud of it.
I would say urgency. Urgency, and I mean discipline on your urgency too.
I'm very urgent as well. Yeah, so a lot of people say patience, but I'm very urgent as well. So, and then last question I like to ask all my guests, New York in one word.
New York in one word. Jungle.
Jungle.
Movie.
Jungle
it's a cinema.
Movie. All right. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I appreciate it. DigitalDesign.NYC is where you can catch Angelika if you have any questions about apps, web development, and just beauty and fashion, or hair modeling, or if you listen to Sherlock Holmes, then contact her and the team here. Love his office. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next episode. Be great.